Along a quiet suburban street, you may expect to find wide lawns, white fences, and a quiet lifestyle. But in this house, quiet is hard to come by. Here, owner Jane Newhouse has dedicated her life to giving a second chance to injured wildlife. For her, that means sharing her home.
Started it about 6 years ago, 2018. I was a veterinary technician. I did that for about 7 years. Since then, now this is basically all I do full time.
But Jane doesn't do the work by herself. Ever since volunteer James Stubbs started working for the organization, he has become a staple at the center.
I've been a veterinary technician for like 5-ish years, 6 years or so, and then started wildlife rehab about a year ago.
James is incredible, so I know if I'm like, yo, can you handle this emergency? Can you get this possumed? And James has it, I know the animal's gonna be okay.
One particular recovery James spearheaded even went so far as to change the way people see injured animals. 6 months ago, James and the center got national attention for helping rehabilitate an injured fox.
The entire forelimb was broken to the point where we weren't able to save that limb, but he had such a will to live and such a drive in him. The ability to like change the way we do things is really inspirational for me. The amputation was an automatic euthanasia for a really long time, but we kind of proved that that doesn't have to be the standard anymore.
For the animals that are successfully rehabilitated at Newhouse, they are brought back to their natural habitat. Others, though, may never be able to fully return.
So Stanley has epilepsy. He came to us as an orphan, and he was raised with 2 other groundhogs. And he was normal for a while. He seemed normal like the rest of them. And then when he got to like a teenager, essentially, he started having seizures. We weren't sure if we could save him. It was a very scary time. He has to have the meds 3 times a day to keep the epilepsy down, so he can't be released. But he still has a great quality of life, which is why we thought he'd be a wonderful educational animal.
From schools to city halls, Stanley has been instrumental in advocating for the work done by Newhouse. But for Jane, dedicating herself to wildlife has often meant blurring the line between the animals and her life at home.
She was found in a dumpster breathing like that. And we did x-rays and ultrasounds trying to understand what was going on. It's been very hard to separate the two, actually, because the wildlife rescues in my home, there's never a time when you're clocking out.
I think it's really inspirational to see these animals and kind of how much of a will to live that they have.
It puts life in perspective in a lot of ways. Some days I'm aggravated because something didn't go right. Maybe my pants were too tight and I'm like, God, I gotta go on a diet. Life's so hard. And then you get a baby squirrel that's emaciated and so dehydrated and covered in fleas, and all this animal wants is to be warm and fed. And you're like, man, my problems aren't so bad. Some of the things these animals go through, and they're just trying to survive out there.
The work that Jane and James do has helped hundreds of animals return to their natural habitats, and they are certainly not slowing down anytime soon. As Jane looks to expand to a bigger location, we can be sure that the important work they do will continue for years to come. For NNTV, this is Ben Newman.